So when Teddy Roosevelt was president, you're talking 100 years ago. I mean, he created the national park system. What's the value in that 100 years later? What's the value in that to America, to our families, to our communities? It's incalculable, it's immeasurable, and that was the President of the United States. He created something that at the time, people didn't understand why you needed to do that. And today, can you imagine if we didn't have the national parks? Can you imagine what our country would look like and what that means to us? Every landowner in Alaska that owns a piece of viable agriculture land, that has the foresight to enroll that land into this program where it's preserving it into perpetuity for agriculture production, the economics, the quality of life, the health of the food that's produced, the health of the citizens that are eating that food. Those people that do that, they're giving a gift that 100 years from now, they're going to be blown away at how important that was. And I think we have an opportunity right here, right now in the valley to see ahead and make a difference. And those landowners that do that, I think they're going to be heroes.
A memory that I have that I carried with me through my life is learning to grow things with my grandmothers. And maybe one of the best memories of my life is just being side by side with them. We'd say, go get the potato for dinner, because of course, everything, as everybody knows, is so oversized. And so you didn't have to have multiple of anything. You could just have one zucchini or one potato, and that would do it for the entire family. And that's the other thing too, is by doing this, it became a family project. And it became something that all of a sudden, my family had a place to come back together. Eating together, being here together, having time together that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And that's been great for me to reconnect with both my roots and the place that I love, the place that I grew up, and all of my family that still live here in Alaska.
The reality is, Alaskans right now in 2019 are consuming over $2 billion a year in food. That's consumables. They're consuming that every year, and it's doing nothing but going up. In fact, it's never going to stop increasing. Your piece of farm ground basically can access a portion of that $2 billion into perpetuity.
We have so much topsoil here, and we used to always call it the magic dirt, because you can grow almost anything here.
Really what that means is we've got the soil, we've got water, and we've got the climate here to produce the crops that people of Alaska need.
The mountains, to the soil, to the sunlight, to the people, to the water, to the rivers, to everything is special about this place.
So Alaska's a giant state. We may have a large landmass, but we have a very tiny proportion of that is actually tillable soil. So it's almost like a catch-22. You've got this great piece of property. The developers want it, farmers need it, and there's a fork in the road.
I decided to try to talk to the Farmland Trust and see if that was something that I could do with this property, the process of donating an easement.
The Farmland Trust is interested in any ag lands, regardless of size, an acre, 5 acres, 10 acres, or 100 acres. The Farmland Trust is a viable solution to seeing that land stay in production and have the ability to feed Alaskans.
With the hope that maybe that would encourage other people to realize that they could do the same thing.
Regardless of the size of the property, if it's met the criteria, the 4 golden criteria that I have, good soil, good water, good climate, and access to market, it can meet that definition of sustainability. It doesn't have to be 40 acres, it doesn't have to be 100, it can be 5, it could be 1, it could be half an acre. If it meets those 4 criteria, I believe it can be sustainable. And if it can be sustainable, that means there's an opportunity for a young person to come in, or an old person, it doesn't matter, and farm that property and make a go of it. And if it's met that criteria, there is a future there for it. Within an hour, I can have them into the Anchorage market. Within 30 minutes, I can be in Wasilla. Within 5 minutes, I can be into the Palmer market. And those are all markets that are consuming food. They're consuming what I produce, and they're making my job profitable. It's almost like it just compounds the value in that and what it means for Alaskans. And if people raise their awareness and they start to realize that, I think those 1 acre, 5 acre lots are gonna make and create very successful farmers.
You still own the land, you can still pass the land on to your children, you still can work the land, you can still farm the land.
Selling your piece of ground to put a house on it and essentially killing that ground from a production standpoint, I think that's real short-sighted, and I think that's getting the least value out of your land.
This can benefit you. It's a tax write-off that you can take. It's not limited to 1 year, so you can take it over many years. You know, that's a direct financial benefit. You still own it, you can still sell it. For the long term, I feel like it'll just increase in value and increase in value. And I say that also as a real estate developer. I mean, that's what I do. Just chopping something up in its smallest pieces that you can and plopping a bunch of houses on it isn't necessarily adding value and isn't necessarily the best use of your resources. You know, the more of us that do this, the more of us that step up and protect, even if it's just our little corner, even if it doesn't seem like a lot at the time, just your corner, when you put all those pieces together, all of a sudden you've made a big difference and you've saved a place. You've saved the heart of a place. And so that's really what it was all about for me.
Literally let your imagination go and work with the trust again in the sustainable mission for Alaska.